What are we even doing here?
Everyone's like, why aren't you famous like your sister?
Why isn't everyone famous like everyone else?
It's not so bad being famous.
It's not. It's really not that bad. I'll take it, you know.
Oh, it's not so bad being trendy. That's the line.
That's even worse.
Everyone who looks like me is my friend.
Yeah, I know.
Got that throat singing kind of going on there.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Didgeridoo.
I'm a didgeridoo over here. Hey, everyone, I'm Ryan.
Didgeridoo wish you wouldn't. I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
Because we're in a pod.
Yeah.
The Orbital Demo Platform. That's
Yeah.
what it stands for. POD. Orbital Demo Platform.
I hate it so much.
You hate that? I think it's hilarious.
I don't have OCD, but if I did, I would be so triggered.
So anyways, this is a guitar show. We talk about guitars.
Yeah. Which is why we're going to talk about artificial intelligence.
That's right. We're talking about AI for the topic of this episode. But don't worry, when we're done talking about that, we're going to talk about guitars as well. But AI is affecting music right now.
Yeah.
It's affecting the arts. It's affecting business. It's all over. AI is a fuzzy film that's grown over all of human society.
The president of the United States is mostly AI, I think, now.
Probably, yeah.
I'm not sure which one. I'm not sure if he's Grok or Llama or Claude or what are the other ones? I don't know what the other, Chat GPT.
Maybe something completely new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, what are your thoughts on AI, Steve? Everyone has big opinions. I want to know your big opinions on AI.
I think honestly, so I am
Make sure you get this right, by the way. If you screw this up, it's going to follow you around for the rest of your life.
Yeah, my take is that I just care so little about it that so the way
do you think AI could come for your job?
I wish it would. Like, there are probably aspects of my job that could be done by AI, where right now, like, I'm working on templates where if the templates were done well, which they will be when they're done because I'm good at my job, an AI could go in and use a template with some data, like with data spreadsheets, and put the two together and should be able to spit out a report that would probably take me like several days to write, like across several days, like, cause I can't just write for hour on hour because of other things I need to do with my job. And then someone would just need to proof it. So it would eliminate like at least the initial step.
So in theory, you could be the proofer because you have the expertise for your job. So you throw something into AI and it spits out like it's templating. I see people using AI as templating a lot, where they use it to generate kind of the starting framework of what they want. And then they go through it and be like, well, all this information is wrong, or this looks wrong, or you need to fix this. And the people who are doing it correctly are, making sure that everything looks right, everything reads right, and that the correct information there. Yeah. And the people doing it incorrectly are the people making slop, who are just, pressing prompts and then publishing what they get.
So there are definitely aspects of my job that could be replaced by AI, but it doesn't seem like we're anywhere close to the proofing. And the reality is like, we are encouraged to use Copilot for certain things. And Copilot's actually great, which is the Microsoft one.
Okay.
That's integrated into Teams and actually into like all of the Microsoft Office suite now. And my experience with it, again, very limited. What I found is that they turn it on during meetings just to take minutes, and then the minutes get proofed. So simultaneously, like, you have the transcript, and then you have the Copilot taking notes. And then afterwards, I think the most important part of the notes, the project manager takes the most important parts from Copilot and then still has to listen to the transcript to make sure it's correct. Hopefully they're doing that. Unless it's like something that they remember, like, oh yeah, that was a thing that was said. My experience with it has been pretty limited. I had a table in a PDF and I wanted to convert just that table into an Excel spreadsheet. And it took me like a dozen tries to do it. And I guess technically it saved me time, but it would have been less stressful for me to just hand copy the entire table, or like just basically do it myself, because it wasn't even that it wasn't taking the table. It would take like the row and column headers and then none of the data, or it would give me half the data, or it would merge multiple columns into a single column. Like it was doing things that were made it worse.
Yeah.
So I've tried to use it in a very limited sense for that. I've used the Google summaries, the AI summaries, because, you know, those are things where they have the links there. I think of the Google AI summaries as functionally, they're doing the same thing that Wikipedia writers do, where they're taking multiple articles and they're taking bits and pieces from multiple articles and then generating a Wikipedia article off of that.
I mean, most of the times that I Google now and it gives me an AI result, like an AI summary, I look at it like, that's not the information I was looking for at all.
I mean, that does happen.
Or I can tell right off the bat, like, wow, that's actually incorrect. Like I can tell that that's incorrect information. So now I have to go dive through and find the correct information.
So I don't know if this is still the case, but I from what I understand, if you want to just get rid of that, you just have to add a curse word into your search. So literally, if you put in, you know, how to intonate Fender Stratocaster, it will give you the AI summary. But if you write how to intonate Fender Stratocaster shit, the AI won't run.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
I got a swear word for Google.
I don't know if that's true.
I didn't know I needed to do a cuss at Google.
Yeah.
To get hey, fucking Google, show me the shit I'm looking for, and then it will.
But that's like the extent to which I've used like the lookup functions.
Yeah.
I'm not super interested in, you know, in having an AI companion like a ChatGPT or whatever. It's just like, if I'm going into ChatGPT and saying, hey, ChatGPT, how do I cook chili? I could just go to Google and type in how to like chili recipe. Like I don't see the benefit of it there. I'm not converting enough files. Again, if every once in a while we get a file sent through the drive that is in some weird format, like a WebP or something that I need to convert to a JPEG, I just Google WebP to JPEG converter. I don't need to say, hey, Copilot, convert this file to a JPEG. It's going to take the same amount of time.
Sure.
Or the savings is so minimal, it just doesn't really matter. I'm not interested in generating images. I'm not interested in generating music or movies.
Right.
So there's just not a lot there that to me is on the average consumer side. Most of it is uninteresting to me.
Well, I'm going to talk about my use of AI,
sure,
for a little bit, and then we'll talk about the grander scheme of things. We'll talk about AI music and AI media and things like that, who it helps, who it hurts, et cetera, et cetera. So the way that I use, let's see if I can talk first. If I used AI, maybe it could talk for me. The way I use AI is I fucking don't. That's not actually true.
RJ, clip that.
That's not actually true. I use it a tiny, tiny little bit, and I'll use it for thumbnails for videos. Photoshop has a generative image thing.
Right.
When you select a portion of your image, you can type in a thing and that you want it to generate. And really the only reason and the only time I ever use it is when I'm working on a thumbnail and I'm like, my t-shirt design is kind of cluttering this whole thing up. It's a little bit distracting. And so it's what I do is I lasso the design on my shirt and then just type remove design. And most of the time it does a really great job of removing the design and replacing it with what looks like blank t-shirt.
Right.
Now, the rest of everything I do, I don't use AI for anything else you see on this channel. Just the occasional thumbnail.
Real quick, because I know you have the newest iPhone.
I turned it off.
You turned off. You already know what I'm going to say?
Yeah, I already turned off the AI thing.
Oh, for the pictures?
Yeah.
Okay. My wife found that yesterday and was like, so she took a picture of the table and she was like, there's some crumbs on the table, and then was like, like crumbs are gone. And what I found is if you have somebody's face and you do that thing over someone's face, it does the digital like blur.
Huh.
Like it doesn't take it out,
right?
Like it does
just for removing stuff
with detritus or whatever. It actually just blur. Like, so if you take a picture of a family and you want to get rid of the kids, it will just do the digital blurring.
Well,
like the pixelation.
Yeah, I turned that off right when I turned on the phone because like, I don't know what that is, and I'll mess with it later. And I haven't circled back. But for me, like I like I said earlier, I don't use it for very much of anything at all. Like anything you see on screen on videos here on the channel is all real.
Yeah.
It's all stuff that I've really done. It's stuff that I've done in camera or stuff that I've done through compositing through various softwares and things like that. And the reason for that is not because I have any sort of grand sort of moral like disagreement with the use of AI. It's because I like my job.
Sure.
It's because I enjoy the work.
Yeah.
I legitimately enjoy the process of making these videos. That being said, if there were simple and small tools along my way, just like in Photoshop, that allowed me to save half an hour here and there, because that's really what me doing that in Photoshop, like removing a design off a shirt,
right,
that saves me half an hour. And it looks better than what I would do. Like I'm pretty good at Photoshop. I would be able to do it, but it would take me half an hour versus taking me a minute.
I think what you're calling out there is an interesting and to me is an important distinction between, again, like for the average consumer use, it's AI as a tool versus AI as
the whole thing
as a generator or whatever.
Right.
Because I do think, so again, like so much of the AI slop that's out there is really about generation.
Yeah.
And even the search stuff kind of gets into generation a little because it's the learning language models and they're taking information and kind of putting it out as it's like rewording it to some extent to make it easier to read or whatever. But I think that's where most people, when they say like, oh, I don't like AI, what they're really saying is I don't like generative AI.
Right.
They're not thinking about, well, the simple, and because some of it's also like it's the complexity of the algorithm.
Yeah.
I was listening to a thing, and this is a total aside, but I was listening to a thing recently that I thought was interesting. That was basically saying that we are at this stage now where effectively AI is coding itself.
I don't know anything about how any of it works.
Like I
don't know.
Like the idea of like how the Grok became like Mecha Hitler or something.
Sure.
There's this whole thing about it. And there was a question about like, well, how did this happen? And one of the things I was listening to was basically saying that like, there are things that as these AIs learn from end users, they are kind of self-coding.
Right.
And so until they become Mecha Hitler, you don't necessarily know, I need to tell the AI not to be a Nazi.
Right.
Like it doesn't, the programmer's not sitting there with a code saying like, don't be a Nazi.
It just winds up there on its own.
It just becomes a Nazi. And
which is super comforting.
And then the coder has to go in and be like, okay, that was bad. Like it has to tell the AI.
No, bad.
So that's where, like, again, the generative stuff I think is kind of along those lines.
Well,
versus using it as a tool.
My feelings as a creator, as a creative, as an artist, are complicated as far as AI goes, because I get to see the side of it where it's like, oh, this is a very useful tool. And I know very many other people in the various industries that fall within the Venn diagram of all the stuff that I do, not just YouTubers, but also other video professionals, graphic designers, et cetera, are all using AI. Not all, but a majority of them are using AI in some function somewhere along the line in their workflow.
Sure.
They may not be using it for their final, production, their final product that they're making, but they're using it somewhere along the line because it's really useful for saving time. And the way things have gone in the creative industries is that it's become very, very, very centered. Many industries in the creative field have become very, very centered on one-man shows.
Sure.
On people who are doing it all themselves. And that's a development that we can even just track back like 30 years, 20 years even.
Yeah.
Like I used to be a graphic designer full time. And when I went into college in the late 90s, they were just transitioning out of graphic design being a hand skill. It was still a hand skill through the 90s, and computers were starting to transition in, taking over with Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that. But when I was going to college, they still had all the rigging for you to do the graphic design by hand, cutting out the lettering, placing the lettering by hand over photographs, and then photographing the whole thing, and that's your advertisement.
So how do you
And it would take a team. It would take a team to make a standalone graphic design thing now, a couple people.
Yeah.
And now graphic designers, one person teams are doing more than graphic designers would have ever had to do as single people, because it used to be there were specialists. Now one person does all those things because they can because of technology, and that's pre-AI. That's just computer stuff, you know?
Sure.
And so we're seeing a progression of that where these tools allow single freelancers and single creative teams, one-man shows basically, to be able to do more with less time. The flip side of that is like, I think this is going to seem like an aside. I think something that is very good and that I very, very much support is the public's just across the board backlash against generative AI. Like McDonald's and Coca-Cola came out with full blast AI commercials in the past month, and the public was just like, no, they just rejected it across the board.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I don't think people want to see fully fleshed out products and commercials and media, movies and music and stuff like that is clearly AI. I don't think anyone cares if a creative is using AI as a tool in the background to get themselves through their process, because they're using all sorts of other modern tools. It's the auto-tune argument all over again. It's Pro Tools argument all over again, like digital versus tape, et cetera, et cetera. Like technology advances and you can't really stop it. All you can do as a professional is keep up. But there is a wall here that I'm glad we've run into as a society, where people are saying, we don't want to see that shit. We don't want to know. We want to see real people. We want to see real light hitting real objects. Like, people don't even really want to see CG in movies anymore. Yeah. Like, if it's in there, like, it is what it is, but people want to see a return to physical, practical effects as much as possible. And I think that's actually a really good thing about AI and about CGI and just how artificial so much media has become, is that now the way to really truly have value as a content creator, whether you're like us making a silly little podcast and YouTube demos, or making everything up to big budget Hollywood movies and, network broadcasts, billion-dollar commercial campaigns and stuff like that. People want to see the work. People want to see humanity. People want to see the fingerprints of real people doing real things. And if there's AI in the background helping people through their process to get it done quicker, that's fine. But people don't want to see it.
I guess, like, I think in some ways maybe there's this whole question of like, will generative get there? And I see people post stuff, what's the new one? It's like Nano Banana or something.
Nano Banana?
I think it's called Nano Banana. It's the new image generator.
Oh, I don't keep up on any of that stuff. Yeah.
That's supposed to look really good. Or like when Sora 2 came out, people were posting, oh, look at this dog doing these crazy dog tricks. But it's interesting to me how the most successful Sora 2 videos were all AI generated Ring cameras, because Ring cameras already look like shit.
They're gritty.
Like it's night vision, so it doesn't look good. Gritty's perfect word.
Yeah.
So to put AI in a place where like it already looks the image already looks over compressed kind of worked to fool some people.
Right.
But what I continuously see are things that just where it's not there yet. It doesn't look right yet.
I don't think that even because people, even if when it's perfect, like I've seen a lot of things where it's like, oh, that looks perfect, but I can tell that it's AI because things are happening that should not be happening.
Yeah. Now,
like I wanted the bear on the trampoline to be real.
Right.
But I knew that it wasn't.
And there are other things too, like your Photoshop example. And I know I made the joke earlier that the president is AI. I just thought because, I don't know, it's funny. But to that
comment's
point,
either going to age really poorly or really well.
But to that point, there has been whole discussions, and the content, whatever, I'm not trying to make this political.
Sure.
But some of the Oval Office speeches, there have been accusations that that's not Donald Trump. That is an AI.
Right.
That is reading a Donald Trump script. But I've also seen some video creators say that, no, that's not AI. That's two different or, multiple videos. And all of the instances where there might be like a hand, like his hands come together and fold in a weird way, that it's not actually, it's not generative AI. It's a tool that just kind of does things a little weird sometimes.
Yeah. There's tools that allow you to take two clips and it will like use AI to figure out an average in between them to give you the smooth blend. And it's so that, he could get his coughs out because he couldn't finish his sentence and there were too many oohs,
which I mean,
or ums or uhs or whatever.
To be fair,
right?
I don't know why I'm being fair.
Yeah, why be fair?
Yeah, I know why be fair. I made the Premiere guitar video. 95% of my cuts were just ums.
Oh, totally.
We do that when we do that. I do it 3 times a year. You do it 3 times a week.
Oh, I do. Like you watch my edits and they're all chopped up. Like,
yeah, no,
it's
Ryan. I heard about the 4-hour Gear for Music demo.
Yeah, look, my path to quality in the past couple of years has been filming way more than I used to.
Yeah.
Because I used to aim to like get it all done in camera and then like have very little editing. And now it's just like, I'm just going to relax and have fun and cut 3 hours down to 40 minutes, basically.
So my only point with that being is that I think sometimes there's a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, where the tool and the generative, and maybe the tool is somewhat generative, like you said, like it's taking the average and kind of making something with it, that where the generative part or the tool part uses some generation. And so people jump to the conclusion that, well, the whole thing must be generative. And so there's just kind of this weird, like, we still really don't know what we're doing with all this. We've kind of built an economy around it now at this point, which is a little scary.
Well, the economy that's built around it is that everyone has to do as much work as possible, as quickly as possible. And so these tools become a necessity, especially when everyone else in your field is using them. So now they're doing more work than you, faster than you. And so which is the story of all technologies. Yeah. Like you go back to the printing press. Before there was a printing press, there were people sitting there writing out, copying every letter and sentence of every book by hand so that someone could have a copy of a book somewhere. And then the printing press comes out and people are like, well, you're taking away the jobs from everyone all the scribes who sit there and copy the books. Where's the artistry? Yeah. Where's the hand skill? And then every single new technology kind of like eclipses the hand skill and the creative skill that existed before and gives access to that skill to a wider range of people. But it doesn't change the fact that there is a difference between the amateur use of that technology and the professional use of that technology. Right. And I think that's a big thing that's missing from the discussion. Like the things where like people are using AI to generate funny advertisements for their small brands or whatever. They don't have the time to do those things in real life.
Sure.
We'll just say there's been a couple brands that have gone that direction in the gear space. I forget the brand, but there was that one who like did an AI generation where it's like, wasn't it like Joe Walsh or something like that? Like they had him wearing their merch or their hat or something like that.
It wasn't Joe Walsh because it was grosser than that. It was Merle Haggard.
No,
sorry. It was Waylon Jennings.
Okay, all right.
It was someone who was dead.
It was someone who was dead, and a brand did an AI generated ad.
Yeah, it was a strap company, I think.
And that was super, super gross. And there's a lot of pushback on that, which there should have been.
Yeah.
And then in general, you have the public just pushing back against everything AI to the point where like Wampler, they put out like a silly kind of like, oh, here's a Norman Rockwell scene, but everyone at the table is Brian Wampler.
Yeah, and there's aliens in the background.
And it was clearly AI, and people so do not want to see AI at all that even that where it's like, it's not disrespecting the legacy of a dead person by making it look like they endorse your product.
It's a meme.
It's just a silly meme that they couldn't have made on their own in any realistic amount of time. But the reality that the audience does not want to see that at all. They don't want to see the AI. They want to see something that's had human hands on it. They want to see reality. And if it's not reality, they want to see that human creativity was involved in some sort of way, or they would rather not see it at all, because there was a huge pushback against that, right? Against the
there was a huge pushback, but the kind of interesting thing with that, because, and you know this from also the way YouTube works, Brian's response to that was that stupid photo got 150 comments.
Sure.
So you guys can hate on it all you want. All you're doing when you hate on it and leave rude and nasty comments is you're pushing the photo to more people.
That's the reality of being content creators and existing within the good graces of the algorithm. But from what I'm seeing from the public, there's a significant amount of people who AI imagery leaves such a bad taste in their mouth that they're walking away.
Yeah.
Long term from brands that they otherwise would have been fine with.
Right. Well, I just mean it from the standpoint that, like, for
the sake of the algorithm,
for Brian, it mission accomplished.
Sure.
Because the reality is the vast majority of the people complaining about it were casuals who would probably have never bought a Wampler pedal anyway.
Yeah. Now let's get into Click Beato territory here. Click Beto territory. What do you think about AI music? Like there's people getting on Spotify and dumping AI generated albums from completely fictional artists, where they've even AI generated the personalities and the imagery of these bandmates and stuff like that. And I mean, we listened to some of that a few months ago. Yeah. And it was like,
it was not good.
It was not good.
There's different I haven't listened to any of the newer AI artists. Like someone who was talking about recently how some AI artist, some AI band or something came out and was #1 on Spotify, like 750,000 plays in a week or something.
Uh-huh.
But I never listened to it, so I can't say whether it's good or bad, because I'm just like, one, I don't use Spotify. Two, I just don't. I don't know. Someone would have to put it in front of me and be like, check out this, this new band. People do send me those like, oh, here's a song in the style of Peggy Lee, but it's about butt sex, like whatever, but it sounds like a 1950s song. Oh, I got one the other day that was like, here's a Christmas song that was banned from the radio, and the woman's name is like, the artist name was like Evelyn Dickens or something. And it's supposed to be, you know,
this is the episode where it's the episode after Christmas and people are watching
with their families,
on their
vacation,
big screen TV Christmas break, and we're saying shits and fucks and butt sex.
But I'm saying,
a lot,
like,
Steve.
There's all those, and it's like, oh, this song in the style of this, and there's a bunch of stuff like that. Personally, I get those sent to me. I listen to like 30 seconds usually most of the time, so I can give a courteous response to the sender. But for the most part, I'm not that interested in it. It's just not interesting to me.
That's not the way I pursue music.
What I was actually going to say, though, is what's been interesting to me is I was getting a bunch of political ads on Facebook. I said I'm not interested. then we did an episode about Joe Bonamassa, and I started getting ads for the Joe Bonamassa Epiphone Les Paul. And I was like, I was getting too many of them. So I started marking those down.
Too many.
And then I started getting ads for Suno. And Suno is one of the music generators.
Oh, okay.
And Suno got a bunch of like kind of known artists, not the biggest names, but people who are like headliners in their like limited genre space. Basically promoting them at Suno as a songwriting tool. Like, and some of it, like I've literally seen the argument that, you're a singer-songwriter. Think about like, like Sam, like our buddy Sam. I don't know if he uses AI or like back in the day, like our Josh D'Amigo, he writes a song on acoustic guitar and he's like, I want a full band, but all of the people I know who play instruments are super busy. I'm going to upload my acoustic guitar track and vocal to Suno and say, give me a Hootie and the Blowfish style pop rock band around this song. And it's generated. And now he's got something that he can send to a songwriter agency and say like, here's my song that I wrote.
Here's the demo. Yeah.
And I put in an AI demo band. So you have some concept of where I think it would go, like what kind of artist it would fit with. And that's what's being promoted. I didn't watch the video because I just didn't have time, but like Danny Sapko called this out for like all of these, because a lot of it's bass players, of course, like we're not like harmonic generators typically in the, like you have to be in a very, for me, I have to be in a very like particular headspace to play bass by myself. So you're always looking for backing tracks. And so Suno becomes a tool
to generate backing tracks.
You could write part of a song on bass, like write, 8 bars or 12 bars on bass, put it into Suno and tell Suno to write the rest of the song for you around this bass line. And now you've got a framework to work off of to write the real rest of the bass parts.
Yeah. I mean, here's the reality of all this.
Yeah.
AI is being used as a Band-Aid to just this cover up the wound that capitalism has inflicted on all of us.
I mean, in a lot of ways,
because
you're not wrong.
Because we are living in a situation where we have to be 100% productive as much of the waking day as possible, and even into the night. Like it's become a thing where like you really, there's not leisure time anymore.
Sure.
And because everything is so maximized, like you've got to have as much output as possible. This is me talking about what I've been going through the past couple of months. I got myself way behind, and I just finally got caught up. But we're in this state of constant hustle because we're competing against everyone else who's hustling at the same time. There's not time for people to have bands. Yeah. There's not time for people. Like when I started Dinosaur Ghost, we would go into the all ages venue that we used to run and use it as a practice space and spend 4 or 5 hours like experimenting and playing around with songs that we'd been working on and finding new parts and stuff like that. And every now and then Dinosaur Ghost and we get back together and prep for a gig or something like that. And it's like, we don't have time to kick the ball around anymore. We don't have time to work out a song anymore. None of us do. Like, and to pitch yourself as a songwriter to a studio or to a agency, like, I don't know, whoever, or even to other musicians, you got to come with completed works now.
Yeah.
And so you're doing the shortcuts to get there. It is a byproduct of the situation that we're all in, unfortunately. So if we want to avoid this, we have to restructure our society.
Sure.
Or we have to restructure the way that the arts and the creative commercial arts are compensated.
Yeah.
We need to restructure how much output is expected from individuals. Like the way that we're going, we're getting to a place of critical mass where every single person working as hard as they can to make as much as they can is going to be too much, and it's just not needed. Where is the limit? What do we really need to have a society where everyone can be a one-man show freelancer. Like, hey, I'm a bassist, but I recorded a whole album because I used AI to make every other instrument. That's an interesting story for the person who's doing it, like the people within the industries that are like, oh yeah, I did this and that. I got a really great drum track out of using this and this and that. These were my prompts or whatever. It is a completely unsexy story for the audience. Like they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear like, yeah, I was having a real tough time finding a third verse for this song. So I went into this AI and I basically used it as a high-tech thesaurus where I was like, here's my first two verses. Like, give me a bunch of different options that would be in the same vein and maybe communicate this idea that I'm trying to have. And then it spits out like a dozen options and they pick the one and then they massage it a little bit. Right. That's not the story people want to hear. It is the story that gets the song finished. And because the artist is sitting there selecting it and making the tweaks themselves, technically it's their art. Technically it's their art. Yeah. Even they're using it as a creative tool to get through their project, but it does not have the sex appeal that the audience wants when they want to hear about the origin of a song. They don't want to be watching the equivalent of Behind the Music in 30 years about their favorite song and being like, oh yeah, I guess it doesn't really mean anything to them. They were just trying to fill the third verse or whatever.
What's the name of the guy? Who was Dolly? I don't know if you would know this. Dolly Parton's like songwriting partner.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of artists over the years who kind of have had like a songwriting partner. Like, I guess maybe in the current one, it's Dan Nigro and a bunch of different artists. Like Dan Nigro is the songwriter producer partner for Chappell Roan, or at least has been for Olivia Rodrigo, for people like that. And it is interesting. And then I know people. Dan Nigro's from a band called As Tall as Lions that I found out about recently. That was like kind of, I think, a 1 or 2 album indie rock sensation like 15 years ago. And then now he's producing pop music. But the question is like, are we like, it kind of feels like that we're moving to a point where instead of it being like, oh yeah, Olivia Rodrigo, like she writes these songs and then Dan Nigro helps polish them and make them this thing where, you know, we're just moving towards like, oh, Olivia Rodrigo and Grok. You know, and it's not Grok, it's Suno
Sublime with Grok.
Yeah, just replace those singers with AI. So there is kind of that, and yeah, I do agree. It's like, I don't think all AI is bad. I don't think the AI search engines are necessarily bad. I think the commercial uses that we see for AI right now, and again, it's mostly like the generators,
right, where it's obvious, where
are just really uninteresting to me, and it almost feels like a boring thing to say now. But my job, well, like I want to see more being done and more being published around, like, you know, this AI found a new treatment for cancer.
Of course, yeah.
You know,
a friend of mine, her breast cancer got caught super, super, super early because of AI. Yeah. Nobody is going to stand up and be like, AI shouldn't exist in that case. Everyone wants that AI to exist.
And some of it makes me think of like, do you remember SETI at Home? The SETI at Home project from, I think, the early 90s, and I ran for a long time. The idea that you would take your computer at night and you would just leave it on, and these SETI at Home people would have access to your computer for processing star charts. You know, pictures of the radio images of the sky. Like, putting AI to a task like that, or even having like, hey, you're going to put this AI on your computer and it's going to run tasks in the background that use like 0.5% of your processor power. But because we have a billion or 100 million people doing it, it's going to be like super powerful, and it's going to be, you know, analyzing images of cancer patients or whatever to like try to cure diseases. That to me is really interesting.
Totally. I even like it for like kind of manufacturing stuff, like using AI to figure out the exact most aerodynamic design for some component going into a jet or something like that, where like it's figured out how to make sure the walls of some engine are strong at every point that they need to be. It takes the human error out of it and can predict things. Like there's all sorts of really great applications for AI in those worlds. At the end, it still requires a human expert to be the selector, the human expert to be there to catch mistakes that an AI might make, the human expert to be the creative, to be the artist, to be the technician. Do you want to put a bow on any of your points, or should I put a bow on?
I was just going to say that I think that, going back to your capitalist thing, is I think that is part of the problem. Is we almost, it feels like we need these generators because the hospital system and the science community and whatever aren't big enough to support the infrastructure that, the size of the infrastructure that at least it seems like might be needed. The question to me is, does that size of infrastructure actually need to be needed?
And there's just also limits to human capabilities.
Sure.
So you could hire every scientist in the world to solve one problem, but then you've taken every scientist off of every other problem in the world. So here's kind of my final thoughts. Sure. Maybe you'll have final thoughts after mine. There's a big discussion as to whether or not AI is coming for artists' jobs. Is AI coming for all the creative work? Is AI going to replace all the artists? And here is my broad brushstroke reply to all of that. AI will never, ever, ever, ever be able to replace human desire and humans' desire to create. AI will not take that away. It might become a tool in human creativity, but it will not replace your desire to create. It just won't. Will it replace the marketability of what you create? That's the thing you need to be worried about. Can you be better at being a human artist than an AI? The public wants to see art from humans. The public wants to see the real thing, and they want it messy. They want it sloppy. The era of people making perfectly polished, perfect creations is thankfully over. You don't have to be perfect anymore, but you do have to be human. Can you be human enough to be more human than an AI? That is the challenge right now, and I think that's going to be the challenge for the next decade or so, is a return to all the imperfections and warts and all the the drifting in time when you're playing and all the little artifacts left when you're hand illustrating something. People are going to crave that. And are you going to be able to provide it in a way that other people will want to compensate you for? Sure. That's being a creative, being an artist, musician, visual, sculptural, otherwise, has always been a challenge. It has always been a challenge to make a living doing that. This is just another challenge to all of that. And you can still use AI because most people are going to, but you need to make sure that what you're outputting is human. So that's kind of my button on it. What do you have, Steve?
This episode's brought to you by Stringjoy. They make strings long enough for your guitar. Unless you generated that guitar in AI, and then maybe it won't, because that would be like an imaginary.
Well, say there's an AI guitar.
Yeah.
That becomes popular and everyone's using this AI guitar. They're going to need AI strings.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling Stringjoy is going to be able to step up to the plate with custom sets of AI generated strings that you can't get anywhere else. So get ahead of the curve, go follow Stringjoy, get on their mailing list so that when they come out with AI strings for the world's most popular AI guitar, you'll be able to be all over that. You know, you want to be on top of that, right? It'll save you time. No longer will you have to spend 10 minutes changing strings. You'll just generate them.
Yeah. This episode is also brought to you by Chase Bliss. Personally, I think Chase Bliss pedals are more fun to play with than AI.
Yeah.
So go get on the Chase Bliss mailing list so you can have more fun with the pedal than you will with AI.
I don't think AI could recreate what Chase Bliss pedals do. I think it's too random. I think it's got all the warts in there. It's like you take a pedal like the Habit or the Mood or something like that, and it is about embracing chaos. It is about using chaos in creative ways. It is about taming a wild stallion of bleeps and bloops. That's not what AI does. That's what human beings do.
You want some behind the curtain sadness, Ryan?
I sure do.
So we're recording this 2 days before Christmas. My Chase Bliss Lost and Found showed up today. And then because tomorrow's Christmas Eve, unless we get rained out, we're going to be like trying to get on the road and go down to my parents.
You're not even going to get to try
so I don't even think I'm going to be able to play it until the day after Christmas. So I will have a brand new Chase Bliss pedal like in my house for 3 days, potentially unplayed.
So when you're on that long drive, you're just going to play I'll Be Home for Christmas on loop. and your family's going to be like, wow, why is Dad really playing this song? And you're just going to be thinking about your lost and found, waiting for you at home.
Yeah.
I'll be home for Christmas.
Of course, the Lost and Found is part of the Chase Bliss small batch pedals. So if you missed out on it, you're going to have to head on over to reverb.com to get it. They've got all sorts of new and used pedals, and their 2025 year-end lists are now out. They've been out for a couple weeks. There's some interesting things on there. Do you know, according to reverb.com, what the #1 new guitar of 2025 was for sales?
I have no idea.
It's the Epiphone Back to the Future.
Oh, gosh, you keep bringing this up.
5.
Anything to talk about that guitar.
Yeah, it was on there. So I like Reverb. Go down in the description, click on our link, because then if you buy anything on Reverb, Ryan can get a couple bucks out of it.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
Yeah. Ryan, this first ad is in my iPad and I need to open it. It's from Dustin G. And this is called Strat 6.
You're not going to believe it, guys. It's a 6-string Stratocaster.
Up for grabs is this parts caster. It's a hardtail Strat body set up like a Fender Bass 6. The bridge was moved to accommodate the longer neck, and the original opening for strings was filled in. It has Spurzle locking tuners. I'm not sure the origin of parts beyond that, as I didn't assemble it. Local pickup in Austin. Update: the A string locking tuner seems to be locked shut at the moment without the string in it. I can't put the string in it because this is jammed shut. I loosened the strings to put lemon oil on the fretboard and it popped out, and I've not been able to get it back in. Allegedly, it's as easy as using a needle to pop it down, but I've not been able to get it after a few tries.
All right.
This did sell for $555,
which I think is a great price.
Not too long ago.
I think this is a slick looking guitar for $550. I think Fender should be manufacturing stuff like this. If the Bass 6 gets popular enough, and I know it's been out for decades and decades and stuff, but it seems like there's a bit of a resurgence. Like there's a lot of love for kind of low strung instruments right now that kind of like fit somewhere in between bass and guitar, whether it be extended scale or multi-scale, 7-string, 8-string, stuff like that, and going into things that are more vintage voiced like Bass 6s. I could see Fender coming out with a Bass 6 Strat. I could see them coming out with a Bass 6 Tele. I could see them coming out with a bunch of different variations of the theme.
What would you call it? Would you call it the Strat 6, like you've called this a Strat 6?
Why not? What would you call it? You have a better name?
Call it, I was thinking maybe a Basscaster.
Basscaster, but then that would cover Telecaster as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, you could make a Basscaster S and Basscaster T. You could have both.
Bassocaster?
I'm looking at this now. So I'm not fully understanding. Is the guy saying that the
pen
string just going to lock shut at the moment without the string in it? Can't put the string in because it's jammed shut.
I'm going to use this thing as a demonstrator again. Okay, so say you've got the hole in your tuner like this, right?
Yeah.
Look at it. You got to use your eyes, Steve. So there's the hole in the tuner that the string would go through.
Yeah, and I know you've got the other part from the locking tuner. So you've got part's just jammed up.
You've got a pin that goes in there that locks onto the string as it goes through.
Yeah,
it holds it. So he tried to loosen it, and he was able to get the string out, but then the pin isn't moving on him. I've had this happen a couple times, and I just go in there with something and poke it around, and it pops back out. So I wouldn't worry about that. Even if that's completely broken, I think $550 is a good price to get into this thing. I think the modifications that they did are really super clean and look great. I love this custom pickguard that they did on here that swoops down towards the hardtail bridge because they needed to move the bridge to adjust for the scale length. They also they spread out the pickup placement, because that's not the original bridge pickup placement.
You're right.
There's a lot more space in between the pickups on these, and they wanted to have the bridge pickup be closer to the bridge, obviously, so you can get those, those twangy sounds. I think they just did an excellent job on this. And you've got, I'm sure they pulled the neck off of a Squire or something like that. It's got the block inlays in there, which look very classy on a Strat. I don't know. I think this is rad. If this hadn't already sold, I'd be screaming at the camera. Someone buy this.
I like they did like this little rosewood block on the back to fill in the holes that were.
Yeah.
I say the person who's selling this wasn't the person who made it, which is why they don't know where any of the parts actually came from.
Sure. I wonder what they paid for it.
But yeah, I think it's really cool. I like the way it looks. So maybe Dustin G will be our winner this week of the Adventurers Club. Of course, every week we give away a $25 gift card to the ad that we deem the best ad of the week.
And that's all covered by
our Patreons.
There we go.
We got some new Patreon supporters, Ryan, at
nice.
the $3 American level or $4.50 Canadian level, depending.
Because Canadians are better.
Where your location
They're
is.
worth more.
We've got Red Eye Bloom.
All right.
And we've got Amanda Coombs.
Oh, welcome, Amanda.
Long time.
Amanda's been supporting the show just by being Amanda.
Friend of the show.
Forever.
She's our #1 mod.
Pretty much.
We go in there and people say crazy things and she's like, no.
Yeah, get out of here.
And at the $5 level, we've got Fred.
Oh, there's more. Yeah. Thanks, Fred.
And so Patreon helps support the things that we do on the show. They cover shipping when I send out Patreon gifts and whatnot. And when we do giveaways and all sorts of things.
They also feed us.
After
this episode, we're going to go get food.
Yeah.
And the Patreons are going to cover that. Thanks, Patreons. We got holes in our belly that you guys are filling.
Ryan, this next ad was sent by Jonah Rees.
Oh, here we go.
This is called the Ultralele. This is a Murray Kuhn Avanti electric ukulele 2022 stained deep mahogany. $32.50.
I know, there's sticker shock
plus there. Plus $250 shipping. About this listing, original was sold. I now make to order. Made from Kiat plus Ofram/Limbo with custom-made pickup. Bird's eye maple neck fretboard. I've gone with low G stringing and my headless system works well. All my export instruments get sold with a custom-made flight case. So this is in Johannesburg, South Africa.
I think this thing looks rad.
This is very much boutique guitar showcase at NAMM.
It also kind
of an instrument.
It reminds me a lot of like the Jackson kind of Roswell Rhodes era of guitars. Like Jackson made a bunch of guitars for the band Orgy that had this very spaceshipy thing going on, and this is definitely in that neighborhood stylistically.
Yeah,
I know there's sticker shock on the price too, by the way, but I'll tell a story. Like when I was a teenager in the late 90s, I was on the internet and I was like, man, I really want a ukulele. I want to learn ukulele. And there is very early time on the internet to be shopping for instruments. There weren't a lot of resources back then. Reverb didn't exist yet. Sponsor of the show. And so searching around for ukuleles on the internet, the only places I was able to find ukulele was on the websites of like small boutique builders.
Right.
And oh my gosh, the sticker shock. I was like, I just want like $100 ukulele, and all I can find on the internet are like $5,000 masterworks. It was just like,
I didn't know that existed,
dude. The ukulele scene is nuts. Like, and every instrument outside of guitar is like that. Like guitar has that. We have our high end.
Sure.
Obviously. But a lot of instruments, they don't have the very healthy low end to mid range that guitar has, where like you want a guitar in any style, there's someone out there making it for $800, like, and it's going to be pretty dang good.
For what it's worth, ukulele, you know, like all the Kala stuff is under like $1,000.
But that stuff didn't exist back then either, because ukulele wasn't in trend.
Oh, yeah.
And so things are a lot better now for ukulele. You can get all sorts of really great ukuleles.
Thanks, Jason Mraz.
For, for decent money. It became a much, much more popular instrument in the past 30 years.
Yeah.
But man, trying to find a ukulele back in the 90s was rough. I ended up finding one in a local music shop that was like a Sunlight or something like that. Like the tuners didn't function. It sounded like the bad version of a tin can. Like sometimes you're like, oh, that sounds like a really cool tin can, you know?
Yeah.
This just sounded bad. It was the one I ended up smashing on stage that one time.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It was a terrible instrument.
Ryan, you could have given that to a kid.
It wouldn't. I gave it to an adult. That's a whole other story that we're not going to tell. So
I don't remember this story, and I was probably there.
But things are a lot better. But the price on this does not shock me.
Okay,
that's good. That's like range of normal for boutique.
That makes one of us
artisan ukuleles.
I paid $1 for my ukulele.
Where'd you get it?
They got it from actually a Chinese brand reached out to us about doing a ukulele like demo or something. I said, yeah, I'll take a ukulele. And so they did the whole thing where it's like you buy it on Amazon.
Oh,
and then actually they just wanted a review. So you buy it on Amazon, and then when you get it, you write a review, screenshot the review, send it to them.
When did this all happen?
It's not a few years ago.
Okay.
So it was like a $50 ukulele. It plays fine. It plays real good now.
I've got a bunch of
out the box.
I've got a bunch of budget ukuleles that I covered years ago.
Yeah.
I have a personal rule that if a ukulele brand hits me up, I just say yes and I demo it because one, it's fun. I like ukuleles. They're fun and they're easy to play if you already know guitar because it's the same chord shapes as the lower 4 strings on a guitar. You can play your D shapes, you can play your F shapes, you can play your C shapes, your A shapes, et cetera, et cetera. If you can do it on the lower 4 strings, you can do it on ukulele. But I always said yes, like I said, because they're fun. But 2, they make excellent gifts.
Oh, yeah.
You hear someone in the distance say, man, it'd be fun to learn ukulele. Like, here you go. I've given away probably like 4 or 5 ukuleles to friends and family over the years, just because I heard a rumor that they might like one. There's a kid who lives up the street from my house who had a ukulele, and kid stuff happened to it and it became non-functional. I was like, well, hey, let me take care of you. I gave him a ukulele.
Nice.
A nicer ukulele than he started out with. So they're just fun to have around. Yeah. I encourage people, especially guitarists, to check out ukuleles.
I think part of the sticker shock with this too is just the idea that because of its size and everything, and because you do see them in like the novelty shops and whatever, that ukulele it isn't necessarily a serious instrument.
Right.
And when the reality is that's like when you go to
every instrument has a serious version of itself and an unserious version of itself.
That's like when you go to the county fair and you win the Mahar, assuming like, oh, I got this at the county fair on a $5, gimmick game, and I won it, and it sucks, so that must mean, the Jimmy Page signature Les Paul also sucks.
Right.
Because you got the cheapest thing. Or if that's all you've ever been exposed to, then going to Guitar Center and being like, what? This thing I got for a $5 ticket has a $5,000 custom shop version? What the hell?
I got a Strat. It sucked. All Strats suck.
Yeah.
I want to say real quick, though, I love the design of this thing. It looks super cool and futuristic. I wouldn't mind having a guitar version of this. Maybe not like the acoustic
guitar version of this would be sick.
Not the acoustic piezo sort of thing that I'm sure is going on here, but like just the standard electric guitar style thing built in this style. Hell yeah. I think this thing looks rad.
The brand that makes this is called Murray Coon Guitars.
So they probably make guitars.
So if the website would load, I think because the website's in South Africa, it's taking extra long.
Well, we're on the other side of the planet right now.
Load. Yeah. But yeah, dude makes a bunch of guitars.
Looks like he makes a jazz box of some sort.
I'm not gonna find them all. Or maybe I will.
Everyone go check them out.
Yep.
Because this thing's very attractive, and it looks like his other stuff's attractive as well. Sometimes you just want to look at cool things, right?
That's what I'm trying to do right now. Oh yeah. Those are some cool things. So cool, much things. Ryan, do you got anything new?
It's the end of the year. I'm spending a lot of time sitting around on comfortable seats, sipping on eggnog, reflecting on the past, and thinking of the future. And I think we'll talk about that next episode.
All right.
Yeah. But you got anything new?
I got my like I said, I got a Lost and Found waiting for me at home. It was
lost, but now it's found.
I got my Wren and Cuff mystery box.
Oh yeah, you got that
thing. I got
thing.
the White Elk with a mod. I think it's called the flat mid mod. I think is what it's called. but basically because it's so that one, the White Elk, is based on, I think it's called the Elk BM or Elk Big Muff. It's the
Elk bowel movement.
It's the Japanese Big Muff that Boris uses.
Oh, okay.
It's I think it's, if I'm putting it all together, because it doesn't say this outright, I think this is the same quote Big Muff, because it's notably not exactly a Big Muff.
Right. It's like the off-brand copy
that the Earthquaker Hizamitas is based off of.
Yeah, which is a fat fuzz.
And then with this flat switch, because the one, it still has that very typical, low mid scoop that Big Muffs tend to have. That flat mid gets rid of that scoop and just makes it super huge.
Yeah.
So I've been having some fun with that. I want to take my Wren and Cuff Box of War and the White Elk and play them against each other, just to really hear the differences between the two different circuits. I think that'll be a lot of fun. But that was a really exciting, fun thing.
Also, I'll add in what's new. I got that Marshall amp.
Oh yeah,
last week, which is, that thing's so fun. I was not expecting to like a Marshall so much, but I've been having a great time with it. A lot of people in the comment section were like, "Hey, hit it with a fuzz." I want to get back to a little bit, as much as I can. Remember in the early days of the channel where I'd get a product and I'd do the initial video and then I'd do like 4 or 5 follow-up videos and just milk it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I need to do that with the Marshall, because it's a new sound. It's a new sound in my quiver. I want to know I want to know how it reacts to various different things.
Sure.
I want to do a video where I'm throwing a bunch of weird stuff in the loop. I want to do weird loop stuff with it, with the effects loop. I want to test it with a bunch of different styles of fuzz. Like there's a bunch of different things I want to experiment with.
Do you think you would do it like the way you did the reverb shootout and just do a bunch of different fuzzes, or would you do like Big Muffs into Marshall and it's all the same style of circuit into
maybe.
Or like I said, I don't know what would be more fun, all the same style of circuit into the Marshall, or one Big Muff, one fuzz face, one tone bender.
Well, I think I want to,
whatever.
I think I want to make sure.
I already said fuzz face.
I want to make sure I cover the classics. So yeah,
Sure.
Big Muff, fuzz face, tone bender, et cetera, fuzz right. Things that I have that cover the classics. But then also I have weird stuff that I want to throw at it. I think I want to do a video where it's like one chord, just letting it ring out, and one kind of like 5-note riff per pedal.
Sure.
And just like dial in my favorite sound on each pedal and just have it be a parade of fuzz through a Marshall. And I won't even keep the same setting on the Marshall the whole time. I'll sit there and I'll dial in what I think sounds best each time. Like I just want to explore a little bit and have my fun. But it's like, I got to figure out how to have time making unpaid content,
Just have AI do it for you.
I'll just have it. You guys want to know what AI thinks that would sound like, right? That would be useful to you.
Yeah.
Every time, I know we're continuing that line of discussion.
I wasn't trying to.
I know I am though. People are like, "Oh, AI is coming for your job if you're a YouTuber or a creator or whatever, a demo." Like, no one's gonna want to watch an AI demo because you're never gonna believe that you're hearing what it would actually sound like. You're never going to believe that you're getting a real opinion on what the physical object actually is, because the AI can't touch or hold anything. Like there's a lot of jobs that are being streamlined by AI, and there's jobs that are going to be replaced because of that by AI. But there's a lot of jobs that I think are going to be just fine. And I think mine is one of them.
Yeah.
As long as there's still people making the decisions as to what they're going to buy, I think they'd rather watch a human being tell them what they're experiencing with it. All right, last ad.
Yeah, this ad was sent by Joey Scar.
I want to say off the bat, I remember this one. I grabbed this a couple weeks ago and put it in the folder for this week. It's a double neck guitar, which I don't really grab those anymore because they're inherently boring. It's like, oh, 2 necks on a guitar, big deal.
Yep.
I remember the caption being the fun thing here.
Used double neck Strat style electric guitars. It's a hardtail Strat on one side. It is a wiggle stick Strat on the other side. This listing has ended. I don't know if that means it sold. It was listed for $140.
I think that means it didn't sell.
Junk cheap double neck. Plays like shit. built like shit. This guitar sucks.
Sometimes we get ads.
Oh, it's a 12 string.
It's a 12 string on the hard side and then a regular Strat underneath. Sometimes we'll get ads and I look at the pictures and I'm like, that's not anything interesting. I'm like, I should check, the other details just in case something is hiding. Just the about on this is worth it. I wonder why it didn't sell for $140. The guy's telling you it's just cheap junk.
It's also $80 shipping.
Plays like shit, built like shit. This guitar sucks. Like there's honesty in advertising right there.
It probably does cost $80 to ship this if you needed to put it into like a specialty case.
Yeah.
Also, or like any box you would need to be twice as wide, but it would need to be wider than a typical guitar box.
Almost big enough to fit in one of those boxes that Gear for Music uses.
Oh man. I don't really have a lot else to say about this. I do love that honesty.
Yeah.
Plays like shit.
Well,
built like shit.
You can tell just by looking at it, like looking at the shine on the finish and stuff like that. When you've played enough guitars, you can look at the components in a picture and be like, oh, that's garbage.
This is probably equivalent. I mentioned Mahar earlier, and this could be like
probably similar factory.
It's like a carnival guitar, or you get 10 million tickets at Chuck E. Cheese, and you can buy this guitar.
And everyone's favorite part of a Stratocaster, like the best design part of a Stratocaster that no one ever complains about, the placement of the volume knob.
Oh,
they did it twice. They honored it. On the 12-string side, you gotta have that volume knob right there by the pickup, right? Or it just ain't a Strat. Like, double necks are like, if you love double necks, I respect you and more power to you. I don't want to yuck your yum, but also just like, really, does anyone really need these things?
I don't.
And of all the things to go cheap on, don't go cheap on a double neck. All you're doing is causing yourself double the problems. In this case, 3 times the problems because you have 3 times the strings.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody, I don't want to say nobody loves double necks. I can probably think of one example of a person who I assume loves double necks.
They make them, which means people buy them. So someone out there loves them.
But people buy them
to see if because it seems like a good idea.
People buy them so they can play Stairway to Heaven properly.
Sure.
But I don't know if that means people are like, oh, I love double neck guitars. They just love being able to play Stairway properly. I assume I think it's Stairway I'm thinking of.
Double neck is where headless guitars make more sense. Yeah. Like if I was going to have a double neck that I was truly committed to, like some sort of hyper modern, like headless sort of thing where the ergonomics are deeply considered and maybe the necks are even a little closer together or slanted in an ergonomic way. Like I would be looking that direction versus getting the Jimmy Page double neck that's just like a double wide SG for some reason, or like this double Strat monstrosity. Like I kind of dug the double neck Dan Electros back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they still make any.
Were they 12.6?
Well, I liked the ones that would be like either bass 6 or baritone with a guitar on the other side. Yeah. I think that the 12-string and 6-string thing that's not interesting to me.
So the one example I was thinking of, just for the listener out there, of someone who might actually love a double neck guitar, is there's a band called L1011. Mm-hmm. L1011, I think that's what they're called. That is a drummer and a guy playing a double neck guitar and bass.
Yeah, we have a local band called Matson 2. It's a similar sort of thing. It's 2 brothers.
Oh, okay.
The drummer and the guitarist, and there's a lot of looping involved. Like that's a good use case scenario where it's like you've got a double neck, one side's a bass, one side's a guitar. You lay down your loops, and then you're jamming. Yeah. That's a good use scenario.
So those are the kinds of people that I'm like, those people love double neck guitars, I bet.
And in those scenarios, those types of people aren't buying $140 junk Strats that came from a county fair. Like if you're going that direction, you've probably already figured out that that's what you need. Mm-hmm. And you probably should be going nicer. Like I just can't imagine that this should exist, that this helps anyone by existing. Like, you guys know that I love a cheap guitar. You guys know that I love budget gear. But this sort of thing always just looks like way more trouble than it's worth.
This isn't budget, Ryan. It's cheap.
Exactly.
What's your Adventurers Club choice?
Oh, man, I really like that Strat 6.
I'm going to go with the Ultralele.
Okay.
Let's spin that wheel.
Right. Like that Strat 6, like if Vendor did a paranormal or like a Squire like version of that, you know I'd be hitting up my guy at Fender.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm your dude. I want to cover that thing. You do the honor, Steve. I think I did it last time. I don't know if I sabotaged it just now. Yes, the best spin, Steve. Good job.
I might have spun it badly. That's fine.
Congratulations, Jonah Rees.
Let's talk about this song. Of course, at the end of every episode, we play a song submitted by our viewers and listeners from their own production. This song says, "Hi guys, long-time listener, first-time caller. Here's Kid Caligula by 90 Deluxe. It's the first song on our last full length. I know I'm a little late on this meme, but both the guitar and bass on this tune were recorded
with AI
last year through converted cassette players.
Oh, cool.
I attached a photo. If you play the tune, please direct folks to 90deluxe.bandcamp.com. Of course, if you enjoy the song, you can check out that link down below. I also included a thing in case you want it. It's a download link and 2 download codes. Ooh, we'll see. Maybe we'll do something with that. And here
I'll probably have to use one of them, right?
No, because they sent the file on a Google Drive.
Okay, feedback. You always let the feedback do his thing.
I don't know. Someone of us is
That was fun.
Very spooky. Very garage rocky.
Yeah, thanks, Will.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
I was saying that the riff in there reminds me of the Monks. If you haven't listened to the Monks and you want to listen to music that I enjoy, go look at the Monks and you'll hear what I'm talking about. Monk Time is the name of the album that I'm referencing right now. So, yeah. Thanks for watching.
Stay grounded.
Happy New Year.